The Ravens are back and costing people their jobs. We have a new longest field goal record.
It's good from 68!
Drake London moves inside, inserts himself. David Sills moves inside, inserts himself.
Flag? And the Panthers pulled an upset in Lambeau.
Now you got a beach ball on the field.
Yes, football is fun. Welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. It was a week of 90-point games, one gigantic neck, and a big-time gamble in Vegas. It was week 9 in the NFL. Let's get it. It was Lamar Jackson's glorious return from the sidelines, and he was hitting tight ends like he was R. Kelly. 4 touchdowns, 2 to Mark Andrews, and another to Charlie Kolar, who sounds like a heating and cooling system and looks like he services heating and cooling systems. Derrick Henry rumbled and rambled, 119 yards and a story about granulated soap. The Dolphins regressed to the mean. They would have gained more yards on a Peloton. Ollie Gordon was called for tripping, despite not doing that thing at all.
I've fallen.
That would have been, can be, we'll see, 36 yards, but.
What did he trip him with? His
butt.
I think the ref was the one tripping. Round these human barcodes up and test the lot of them. That ref's head is up his
butt.
That is not the face of a man who trips, or uses turn signals, or washes his hands in an IKEA men's room. Yeah, I'm watching you, Ollie, and you're gross. The Dolphins went 0-3 in the red zone. Fearing for his future as a DJ, McDaniel simulated human emotions. He had to. Business Daddy was watching. There was a fumble by Taj Washington, not to be confused with Malik Washington, who also fumbled, which was convenient if you hate Washingtons. Fans were upset and leaving in droves. Miami deserves better than this. Or maybe they don't, I don't know. Someone brought Magic the Gathering, and Mike McDaniel couldn't say yes fast enough. The moon showed up, and Al Michaels had questions.
Is it waxing or waning? What might that be doing?
The only question for Dolphins fans was paper or plastic. The Steelers special teams coach looks like he came straight from training Rocky. He looks like athleisure Popeye. He was walking around, chewing spackle and saying shit like, "The wind will tell you the truth more than most men will." The Colts turned the ball over 6 times. Hard to look good in sandals after shooting every one of your toes off. Daniel Jones threw 3 picks and didn't even listen to his coaches when they called for guerrilla formation. Jalen Warren scored 2 touchdowns on the day, and Aaron Rodgers practiced child rearing. The Colts were chewed up and spit out. Running back Terrell Jennings got his first pro touchdown. They said he's willing to do anything, and now I'm concerned about whatever he did for them to say that. Demario Douglas had chunk yardage. He's celebrated by smacking ghosts and smelling wherever that hand's been. Stephon Diggs is the 5th fastest to reach 900 receptions. Congratulations, you're a hell of a receptionist. Robert Kraft was sitting with Cardi B. He's a fan. I heard WAP was his wedding song.
Drake London moves inside, inserts himself. David Sills moves inside, inserts himself.
Now that's winning the line of scrimmage. Mike Vrabel has big lawn chair energy. He looks like a man with a thermos. Michael Penix threw 3 touchdowns to Drake London, but they couldn't make an extra point to save their life, leaving fans to say shit like,
how delicious.
We take you live to Joe Flacco being old. Charlie Jones started the game with points. This is why they drafted him, I think. Nobody really knows. Joe Flacco carpet bombed the Bears for 4 touchdowns. T. Higgins was nothing but limbs. Kylie Minogue ran like he had an asshole full of fire ants. 176 yards through tackles and faces. Why do players still headbutt the kickers when they miss? You had one job. Ben Johnson was in his bag of tricks again, which feels like a complete waste. Why resort to magic when a simple Zippo stuns them just the same? I don't think anyone won this. Each team took turns trying to piss this game away. 90 total points scored, 8 lead changes. It was equally exciting and infuriating. The Bengals defense is a drive-through chicken joint, fast and full of mistakes. The Bears had nearly 600 yards of offense. You are wasting Joe Flacco's golden years. He could be at the park feeding birds right now.
This is about as demoralizing as it gets.
The Titans were focused on communication. At least I think that's what they said. I wasn't listening. They said Cam Ward makes 2 to 3 wow throws every game. Fantastic news, unless quarterbacks throw more than 2 to 3 passes every game. The Titans got on top early, thanks to a pick 6 and a special teams return by DK. But the Chargers buckled down and stuck with the game plan. A touchdown to defensive lineman Scott Matlock. He's got very soft 300-pound hands.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by
Colo Guard. Ever shit in a box? That's our whole business model. Herbert led the Chargers in rushing and later in song. Voice like an angel, that man. He threw a couple of touchdowns and slid for no other reason than it looked cool. I don't need a logo to know this was not made by a Titans fan. The Niners ran the mother-loving crap out of the ball. And why not when the Giants forgot how to tackle? Mac Jones was bleeding out of his nose holes, and the Niners' obvious and immediate concern turned to Bears. So they snapped his neck and stashed him in the woods. Someone convinced Jameis Winston that we couldn't see him if he didn't move. Word spread fast that Mac Jones was a water pump, and Backpack Greg immediately went to work. The Niners tried to sneak a first down after Kyle Juszczyk snuck under center, but they flagged him for an illegal shift and forced him to drink from restaurant ketchup bottles. Without warning or cause, Kevin Harlan started naming every player he could think of.
Edgerrin James, Damian Tomlinson, Dickerson, Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk, Barry Sanders.
Congratulations to Jackson Dart for joining a very select club.
Him and Tim Tebow, the only ones.
All I hear is Jackson Dart is Tim Tebow. The Packers were wearing throwback uniforms from 1923. A simpler time when men were men and women were also men. Sometimes. These jerseys were ugly in all the best ways. I love them. Rico Dowdle was the plan. He went off for 130 yards and 2 scores. He celebrated with exactly 2 pumps, but they flagged him for it anyway. Have we reduced it to just 1 pump now? There can be no clearer indication. We are in a recession. It was windy, knocking the ball off of the tee, slapping our flags. They had to shove rocks into Bryce Young's pockets just so he wouldn't blow away again. Those things have pockets, right? Which didn't help when Edgerrin Cooper shoved him in the next week.
Now you got a beach ball on the field that's rolling through towards the offense.
That makes sense. That sounds about right.
Oh, thank you so much for rescuing my ball. My mother gave that to me before she passed. If you could just... My ball!
Late in the game, Greg Olsen was surprisingly introspective.
Love has no chance.
Against all odds and wind, the Panthers kicker saved us from overtime. In an upset win that was upsetting for the Packers, it looked like they got dressed up for nothing. This game was raining legs, 16 punts, 8 field goals, and I will show them all to you now as I read this original poem about legs. Oh, mighty limbs of stride and grace, twin pillars of our awkward race, you bear the weight of dreams and fries, and chase the bus when hope just dies. Calves of courage, thighs of might, heroes of jeans that get too tight. From marathon to couch retreat, you never quit, except in heat. You strut, you sprint, you sometimes shake. Your elegance and shin splints ache. For all you bruise, for all you bend, dear legs, our means to end. Mercedes Lewis made history as the oldest tight end to play a game, 41 years old, proving that if you work hard enough, long enough, you too can become trivia. CJ Stroud left in the second with a concussion, and Davis Mills and his neck took over. Look at the size of that redwood. The Texans tried a quarterback sneak near the goal line. Use your neck! 2 hours before the game, McCarthy sat alone and visualized types of meat. tenderloin, prosciutto, mutton, capocolo. He never moved, and the team dressed him like a NASCAR pit stop. One even made the noises like when they do the tires. They asked him not to, but that's Frank. The Lions' defensive strategy was put a steering wheel on a dumpster and drive it off a cliff. McCarthy scored 3 touchdowns in his return. Jefferson with the one-hander. This Muppet. And a scurry of his own. Football, making it okay for men to hug. Montgomery scored a touchdown and then built an invisible house for the homeless. That's just nice. Geno Smith was amped and ready to go. He sat for exactly 1 second before stating, and I quote, "Fuck seats." This was the longest game ever. Or maybe it wasn't. I was tripping balls after eating a box of Lucky Charms that expired in 2016. It fermented into something hazardous. I should have known something was up when it came out in one giant glowing crystal. This game was scoreless until nearly halftime. Then Brock Bowers scored a touchdown with one hand and 2 cheeks. Cam Little set a new NFL record with a 68-yard field goal. There's a new foot king. I shall call him Tonan. Now we can forget about Justin Tucker having sex with massage tables, or whatever that story was about. This game went to overtime, and the announcer explained the rules as the head ref explained the rules as the screen showed the rules. That is a lot of resources for me to still be confused. It was Tyler Shuck's first start. Shuck went to college for 7 years and isn't Dr. Shuck. Kind of a red flag. He's a 26-year-old rookie, which sounds like the plot of a Disney Plus movie. This NFL thing better work out. His kids are going off to college next year.
Coach, how do you get some momentum offensively?
Do I look like I know? Matthew Stafford dropped more bombs than the Israeli Air Force. 4 touchdowns, 2 to Devontae Adams. He found all of his big dumb tight ends. The Rams' defense was overwhelming, both physically and emotionally. Jared Verse, you are a lot. Nate Landman punched another ball out. This time it was Alvin Kamara. Do you think he practices this in the real world? Roaming around the supermarket, punching watermelons out of unsuspecting patrons' arms. You are a threat to fruit everywhere, Landman. Jim Nance laid it on pretty thick.
The game that America has longed for.
Crikey, man, it's week 9, not healthcare. The Bills are terrible at the tush-push. Don't bring instant replay into this. I've seen better pushing in the men's room. Why am I watching? What are you, the toilet police? Joey Bosa made the difference in this, pestering and molesting Mahomes all day. He might be the ugly Bosa brother, but he is. The Bills could have iced the game with a field goal, but it doinked. And every Bills fan's butthole snapped shut so hard, seismologists took note. What is it with you guys and field goals? Sam Darnold might as well have shown up with 100 elephants. He had 4 touchdowns by halftime, 17 straight completions. He spilled spaghetti on his shirt and it just bounced off. No stains. The Commanders' defense looked like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
This was his second choice. JSN was wider opener on the other side.
Eventually, the little guy got tuckered out, and they let A.J. Barner run the tush-push with what seemed like an extra 5 guys. I'm not sure he has enough tushing for all that pushing. Luckily, he got in before a half dozen teammates turned him into mittens. Leonard Williams terrified the Commanders by collecting all manner of bugs, birds, and drones with his tongue. Jacoby Brissett was sharp and efficient, like a potato peeler. The offense looks better with Brissett than Kyler Murray. Statistically, the gap between them is very small, as is Kyler Murray. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a career high in receptions. He broke Deron Bland's ankles and stole his shoestrings just to floss with them later, which is not the flex you think it is, Marvin. For unknown reasons, the Gilbert Gottfried of sports, Stephen A. Smith was sitting with Jerry Jones, looking like Miami Vice, Candyland edition. Jones broke news that news would be breaking tomorrow, and then threatened that more news may come in the future, or it might not. But it probably will, because that's what news does. Points were hard to come by, as the Cowboys came out with the intensity of an avocado. Sam Williams blocked a punt with his face, and the Cowboys dove on it for points. The ball, not his face. The Cowboys were boat raced by a 32-year-old journeyman and a running back named after 1960s Batman sound effects.
And now the soft pretzel of the week.
Yummy. This week, the pretzel goes to the wind. I'm giving the salt pretzel of the week to the wind at Lambeau because that Panthers-Packers game was hard to watch. Till that beach ball showed up. Holy crap, that made my day. And I am for anything, as stupid as it can be, to give a little pop to a game. So, hooray! Thanks, nature. Thanks for showing up. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching. Say hi to your mom for me, and we'll catch you next week. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
What are you, the toilet police?